Split it with Marcus. He needs it more than you. My mother's words cut through the celebratory atmosphere of the Olympic backstage area like a knife. I stood there, still in my competition gear, gold medal around my neck, sweat barely dried on my forehead. The biggest moment of my gymnastics career, and they couldn't even let me have this. My name is Alexandra Mitchell, and at 23, I just won Olympic gold in artistic gymnastics. 15 years of training, countless injuries, and sacrifices had led to this moment. But instead of celebration, I faced my parents' demands. Mom, this is my sponsorship money. I earned it. I tried keeping my voice steady despite the anger building inside me. The contract with Atlas Sportswear alone was worth $2 million, not counting the other deals pending. Your brother's startup is failing. He needs capital to keep it afloat. My father stepped closer, his voice dropping to that familiar commanding tone. Family helps family, Alexandra. You know that. Family helps family. The same phrase they'd used when they borrowed my college fund to support Marcus's first failed business venture, when they'd mortgaged our house for his second attempt, when they guilted me into giving him my car because entrepreneurs need to make the right impression. No. The word came out firmly, surprising even me. Not this time. My mother's face contorted with rage. Before I could react, she reached out and yanked the gold medal from my neck, the ribbon burning against my skin as it snapped. Always so selfish, she spat, throwing my Olympic medal into a nearby trash bin. Marcus has real dreams, real potential. This, she gestured dismissively at the gymnasium beyond. This is just jumping around in sparkly outfits. I stared at the trash bin, something inside me finally breaking. 15 years of being the family ATM, of having my achievements dismissed, of watching them pour everything into Marcus while treating me like a backup plan. Your brother needs this money, my father insisted. He's on the verge of a breakthrough with his tech startup. Just like he was 2 years ago with his cryptocurrency platform, or 3 years ago with his social media app, or 4 years ago with his revolutionary juice cleans business. Each venture funded by family money, my money. Ms. Mitchell. A young woman from the Olympic Committee appeared, tablet in hand. The press conference starts in 5 minutes. My mother grabbed my arm, her perfectly manicured nails digging into my skin. Don't you dare make a scene. Sign the sponsorship money over to Marcus, or I'll tell everyone how you abandoned your family in their time of need. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw something I'd never noticed before. She was afraid, not of losing me or hurting me, but of facing the reality that her precious son might actually be a failure. The press is waiting, I said quietly, pulling my arm free. You should find your seats. Alexandra, my father's voice boomed, drawing attention from nearby athletes and officials. Don't walk away from us. But I did. For the first time in my life, I walked away from their demands, their guilt trips, their manipulation. As I headed toward the press conference, I could hear my mother's shrill voice. You ungrateful little. I paused at the trash bin, reaching in to retrieve my medal. The gold gleamed under the fluorescent lights, a small scratch on its surface from the impact. Like me, it was slightly damaged but unbroken. The press conference room was packed. Cameras flashed as I took my seat at the table, my medal now back around my neck. Reporters called out questions about my performance, my plans, my future. But as I adjusted the microphone, my eyes found my parents in the audience. They sat there, faces tight with barely contained anger, clearly waiting for me to play my usual role, the dutiful daughter who always gave in to family pressure. They had no idea what was coming. I smiled at the cameras, years of media training kicking in. But this time, I wasn't going to stick to the script. This time, I had my own story to tell. Thank you all for being here, I began, my voice steady. Today isn't just about winning gold. It's about breaking free from things that hold you back, about standing up for yourself even when the people who should support you try to tear you down. My mother's face paled, my father shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The real show was about to begin. The room fell silent as I continued, cameras clicking frantically to capture every moment. Many of you have asked about my journey to this medal. The early morning training sessions, the injuries, the comebacks. But what you don't know is that every step of the way, I was also fighting another battle. I pulled out my phone, displaying the banking app on the large screen behind me. This is my account history over the past 5 years. Every withdrawal, every transfer to my brother's failed businesses. money I earned from previous competitions, endorsements, even my coaching work. My father half rose from his seat, but a security guard gently motioned for him to remain seated. My mother's face had turned an interesting shade of red. In total, I've given over $800,000 to support my brother's ventures. Money that was supposed to fund my training, my education, my future. Each time, I was told it was my family duty, that his dreams were more important than my hobby. The reporters were scribbling furiously now. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Marcus himself slip into the back of the room, his designer suit a stark contrast to my competition leotard. 10 minutes ago, my parents demanded I sign over my new sponsorship deals to fund another of my brother's startups. When I refused, this happened. I touched the small scratch on my medal. My own mother threw my Olympic medal in the trash. Gasps echoed through the room. Camera flashes intensified. My mother stood up, her voice shrill. You're twisting everything. We only wanted to help your brother achieve his dreams. Perfect. She played right into my hands. And what about my dreams, Mom? I asked, my voice carrying clearly through the microphone. What about the nights I slept in the gym because we couldn't afford both my training fees and Marcus's business loans? What about the times I had to choose between buying groceries and paying for physical therapy? My coach, Sophia, stepped forward from the side of the room. She'd been with me through everything, watching helplessly as my family drained me financially and emotionally. Now she placed a thick folder on the podium in front of me. These are the receipts, I continued, opening the folder. Every loan, every transfer, every guilt trip text message, but more importantly, these are the documents showing what my brother actually did with the money. Marcus started edging toward the door, but two Olympic officials blocked his path. My father's face had gone from red to white. Instead of investing in his businesses, my brother spent the money on luxury cars, designer clothes, and gambling in Las Vegas. Each startup was nothing more than a shell company designed to funnel money into his personal accounts. The room erupted. Reporters shouted questions, cameras whirred, and my mother screamed something about family loyalty. But I wasn't finished. I'm not sharing this to get revenge or to hurt my family. I'm sharing this because there are other athletes out there, other young people, being manipulated and exploited by the people who should protect them. It has to stop. Sophia stepped up to the microphone beside me. As Alexandra's coach, I've watched her struggle silently for years. Today, we're announcing the establishment of the Mitchell Athletes Protection Fund, dedicated to providing legal and financial support to athletes facing family exploitation. My parents finally seemed to understand the magnitude of what was happening. This wasn't just about exposing their manipulation, it was about creating lasting change. The fund will be supported by half of my sponsorship earnings, I announced, with the other half going to secure my own future, something I should have done years ago. I looked directly at my brother, who had stopped trying to leave and now stood frozen by the door. Marcus, I love you. But enabling your destructive behavior isn't helping anyone. I've already filed reports with the relevant authorities about your financial fraud. They'll be in touch. The press conference had turned into chaos, but I felt calmer than I had in years. Sophia squeezed my shoulder supportively as security began escorting my family out of the room. One last thing, I said, silencing the crowd again. To every young athlete out there whose family sees them as nothing more than a meal ticket, your dreams matter. Your hard work matters. And you have the right to protect what you've earned. As my parents were led away, my mother's last desperate attempt at manipulation echoed through the room. After everything we've done for you. I touched my gold medal, feeling its weight, its significance. Yes, Mom. After everything you've done, this is exactly what you deserve. The room burst into applause, cameras flashing like strobe lights. But all I felt was relief. The weight of family obligation, of constant manipulation, had finally lifted. Sophia leaned in close, whispering, ready for what comes next. I nodded, gathering my documents. The hardest part wasn't over, it was just beginning. But for the first time in my life, I was fighting on my own terms. The aftermath of the press conference was exactly what I'd expected. My parents launched a desperate media campaign portraying themselves as loving, supportive parents who'd sacrificed everything for my gymnastics career. Marcus gave tearful interviews about how his little sister had misunderstood his business practices. But I had receipts, literal receipts. Within a week, The financial investigators I'd contacted months ago released their preliminary findings. Marcus hadn't just misused my money. He'd been running elaborate Ponzi schemes, drawing in other investors with tales of his Olympic champion sister's backing. The charges were serious: fraud, money laundering, tax evasion. My mother's social media posts turned from defensive to vicious. "My daughter has betrayed her family for fame," she wrote. "She's chosen money over blood." I responded by releasing security footage from the Olympic venue, showing her throwing my medal in the trash. The public's reaction was immediate and overwhelming. "You're trending again," Sophia said, showing me her phone during morning training. #StandWithAlex had become a movement, with athletes worldwide sharing their own stories of family financial abuse. The Mitchell Athletes Protection Fund was flooded with applications and donations. Other Olympic medalists, professional athletes, and even celebrities stepped forward to support the cause. What had started as my personal stand against family exploitation was becoming a global conversation. One morning, about 3 weeks after the press conference, I arrived at the gym to find an unexpected visitor waiting. My grandmother, Eleanor, whom I hadn't seen in years due to my parents' interference. "Alexandra," she said, rising from the bench with tears in her eyes. "I had no idea what they were doing to you." We sat together, and she told me how my parents had systematically isolated her, claiming I was too busy for family visits, that I didn't want to be bothered with maintaining relationships. All while they borrowed money from her too, supposedly for my training expenses. "I should have seen through it," she said, squeezing my hand. "But I'm here now, and I'm so proud of you for standing up for yourself." That evening, I received a call from Marcus's wife, Sarah. She was filing for divorce after discovering he'd mortgaged their house without her knowledge to fund his gambling habit. "I should have listened when you tried to warn me last year," she said, her voice breaking. "Can the fund help me protect my daughters from him?" "That's exactly what it's for," I assured her. My nieces wouldn't grow up watching their father drain their futures away. The criminal investigation into Marcus's schemes expanded. More victims came forward, and the amount of money involved was staggering. My parents' involvement couldn't be legally proven, but their reputation in our community was destroyed. The country club rescinded their membership. Their social circle evaporated. The reality they built on manipulation and lies crumbled. 6 months after the Olympics, I stood on another stage, this time at a benefit gala for the Mitchell Athletes Protection Fund. The room was filled with athletes, advocates, and supporters. My grandmother sat in the front row, beaming with genuine pride. When I won Olympic gold, I began my speech. I thought it was the hardest thing I'd ever do. But standing up to family abuse, that takes a different kind of strength, one that each of us possesses even if we don't know it yet. I announced new initiatives: legal aid programs, financial literacy workshops, counseling services. The fund had grown beyond my wildest expectations, helping not just athletes, but anyone facing financial exploitation from family members. My parents made one last attempt at reconciliation, or rather, manipulation. They showed up at my gym, my mother clutching a Bible, my father wearing his concerned parent expression. "We've prayed about this," my mother said. "We're ready to forgive you." I looked at them, seeing clearly the people they truly were. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," I replied. "I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done." "But we're family," my father protested. "No," I said firmly. "We're relatives. Family supports each other. Family celebrates success instead of exploiting it. Family loves without conditions." As security escorted them out, I felt no sadness, no regret. Just peace. Today, my Olympic medal hangs in my home gym. Its small scratch a reminder of how far I've come. The Mitchell Athletes Protection Fund has helped hundreds of young athletes secure their futures. Marcus is serving time for fraud, and my parents, well, they're learning that actions have consequences. My grandmother moved closer, and we have weekly dinners where she shares family stories my parents never told me. Sarah and my nieces are thriving, free from Marcus's financial abuse. Sophia continues to coach, now specially trained to recognize signs of family exploitation in young athletes. As for me, I'm training for the next Olympics, but this time, every dollar I earn goes exactly where it should, toward my dreams, my future, and helping others protect theirs. Sometimes the hardest routines in life aren't performed on a balance beam or uneven bars. Sometimes they're about finding the strength to say no to the people who've always expected you to say yes. That's the real gold medal performance.